What's up guys, and happy Mother's Day. You can tell I don't plan these things out in advance because I completely forgot that was today, in terms of making videos at least. But my mom is a fan of Disney, so it kind of works out today that I sort of have a Disney figure for you. This is the Apocalyptic Stitch from Hoodie Studios. This figure was part of his Apocalyptic Disney line, in which he made a few different characters, like Mickey, Goofy, and even though he's from Nickelodeon, even SpongeBob. Though I liked several of the figures he made, this was the only one that I really had any interest in getting. And I think it's a pretty nice minifigure. I mean, okay, it's a really nice minifigure. You can tell a whole lot of work went into making this guy. Even though it's not like superly overly detailed or anything, it's also not meant to be. This is Stitch in a post-apocalyptic world, and I think he captured that exactly as well as he could have. The head of this minifigure is actually completely repainted from what it originally looks like. It was made a lot darker, and he also beat it up a little bit, giving him nicks and scratches all over the place. But one of my favorite details is obviously going to be the eyes here, which he added this X, something he did on all of his minifigures, and I just like how it looks. On some of his other minifigures like the Mickey, it makes the eyes look like it's glowing. It doesn't really have that effect here, but I don't really mind, I just think it looks awesome. He also went out of his way to include these other like fur and cloth pieces, and also made sure to weather them and dirty them up and make them look like they actually really fit here. So Stitch's left side, our right side, is basically completely covered by this fur piece. And it does a really good job of just sticking to him. And before we go any further in this shot, I just want to explain really quickly that the hair on that left side there is just fiber from that thing on his shoulder. Sorry about that. But the point of the shot anyway is what you see on the figure itself. You can see like a really beat up armor chest, which is again really simple. Hoodie didn't go out of his way to add super amounts of detail or anything like that here. It's literally just a dark blue chest piece. But there is a belt as well that he even made sure was slightly off-centered to add to that apocalyptic feel. And on the legs, he has a knee pad I think on one side, and then he has like these bullet casings on the other, which is interesting because the figure didn't come with a weapon, but hey, it adds to it still. And also, that really does point out the level of detail that Hoodie can and does put into his minifigures though, because it's not just one solid color going across there. He painted the tip of each bullet thing slightly different, so one's silver and one's red, really adding detail where a lot of other people might not have. And then on the back of the minifigure, this is probably one of the only times that there's actually something to see back here, because he added this tank with some fabric on it, but then there's a tube that goes directly into the back of Stitch's head. And this he did spend a lot of time painting and weathering, including adding like a gauge onto the tube itself. I feel like this piece here and this connection adds a whole story to this minifigure. Why is it going into the back of his head? I don't know, but I'm sure you can think of several ideas. In fact, I would love to know what those ideas are in the comments down below, just to see if any of you have thought of the same thing I have. But there is one really weird thing about this minifigure, and I've kind of talked about this before. So when it arrived from Hoodie, it had this plate that was signed by him. And look, I really enjoy what Hoodie does, and I really enjoy his minifigures. On Saturday, May 15th, at the end of this week, he has another auction with some minifigures that I hope to buy. But this is just kind of pretentious, man. I mean, sure, I paid a decent amount for this, and there definitely is a resale market. It's a very small resale market, but it doesn't have that kind of value. And this is a subject that I've really struggled to explain properly, where just because someone pays a lot doesn't necessarily mean it's worth a lot. If I was to take this to a pawn shop, no one would buy it. They would probably just stare at me and wonder why I'm wasting their time. Does that make it any less awesome? No. And more than anything, the signature just shows that this did in fact come from Hoodie if I ever wanted to resell this. Though it's also pretty easy to see that it is actually his, considering that he has it well documented on his page. But yeah, whatever. Let me know your thoughts on him in the comments down below, and like I said, try to tell me what stories you can think of for him. And next week, we're finally returning to Team Avatar with the last major member that I haven't actually looked at. I just wish he had his awesome space sword. If you liked what you saw, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button down below and consider subscribing if you want to see more. And if you want to support me further, you can always check me out on Instagram, Discord, and of course on Patreon, where you can join all these wonderful people on screen, get extra entries into the monthly minifig giveaways, and get shoutouts like Jonathan. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.